Yes, people, what's happening? And welcome back to the Frankie Allen Podcast. You are here with your host, Will Cranny, alongside the UK's most feared comedian, Frankie Allen. What's happening, Daddy? You good?
I'm good. I'm Frankie Allen, the UK's most feared comedian. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Belter, I love that UK's most feared comedian thing. A lot of people think that like you made it up and you wear it as a badge of honour, as though like I've heard loads of people say like, why would a comedian want to be feared?
I've heard all that. Why would you be scared of a comedian? But I didn't make it up. You made it up.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm not sure really, never really discussed this with you. I think you made it up because I'm so kind of like interactive with the audience, picking on people and whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of comics are afraid of the audience in a way.
Yeah.
You get a lot of comics, especially a few years ago, you hear them speaking and talking to each other and going, fucking hell, I don't fancy going to so-and-so club.
Yeah.
I believe it's a bit rough there. I believe you get heckled to fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But that's never bothered me. So I've made the audience more afraid of me. So that's a good description. Yeah, it's a good thing, a good whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's a good... It's
analogy,
good brand and good
brand,
does what it says on the tin.
Because a lot of places we go to, as you know, we find it difficult filling the first couple of rows of seats. People don't want to sit there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just tell you exactly what we have to do. So when we do unreserved seated shows, it means that the people who come in can basically sit anywhere, wherever the fuck they want. So let's say you've sold 300 tickets for the show. You're going to get a small minority of the people that are not going to turn up. Maybe 10%, maybe 30 people, maybe 20 people.
We call it, or Will calls it, drop-off.
I call it drop-off.
You know, drop-off. You're going to get a percentage of people who don't come along for whatever reason. You just don't know. Maybe they buy the tickets, but they couldn't afford the night out. Maybe they got called into work. Maybe they're sick or they're ill, or maybe it's a tragedy in the family. You just don't know. So you've got to take that into consideration, that you're going to get a percentage, which is going to be a drop-off.
You're going to get a percentage of drop-off at the venues. So let's say you've got 300 people in a venue and only 270 turn up, but it sits, there's 300 seats out there. So what we have to do is manage that. And the big problem for our shows, which, you know, you go to see another comedian, people are buzzing, they want to sit at the front. On your shows, nobody wants to sit at the front. I don't get that, because if you're going to see you want to be part of the action, surely.
But they want to see other people getting ruined.
Yeah.
They want to see other people being savage, and everybody knows I go to town on people, not just a couple of little things. I'm not saying I go over the top and know what I'm doing. I'm not saying I'm being hateful or personal, which probably am, but it's just the way it is. But they want to see that. They want to see me pick on other people. So they don't want to be on because if they sit on the first couple of rows, there's a good chance they're going to get it.
Yeah. So tips of the trade. I don't have to worry about anyone robbing this fucking idea, because no other comedian will have to do it. But what we basically have to do is reserve all of the back seats. Yeah. So if you're a podcast watcher, you know, you'll have a little bit of insight on this. Well, if you walk into a Frankie Allen venue,
you tell them?
If you walk into a Frankie Allen venue and you see reserved signs on the back seats, feel free to take them off and fucking sit down, because the reason that the reserved signs are there is to push everyone to the front, because people will not sit at the front if we don't do otherwise.
Normally the first front row or two rows, isn't it?
At the front, first couple of rows. We did a show in Ainsdale in a marquee a few weeks ago, and it looked a bit shit. Because it was shocker, but the front two rows were empty.
And what did we film? What did we do?
No, the problem, we have security on every show. When we arrived, he said, the security had got pissed in the daytime and fucked off.
Fuck it all.
So we didn't end up with security. So the front rows weren't full. But it is what it fucking is. Anyway, back to the stories that you love to hear. We've got another episode for you today filled with near escapes, as my dad calls them, NDEs, near-death experiences, escapes from gigs. If you listen to the last one, you will know that there is some blag stories going around about them as well.
There's a few fictional stories. People have made stories up, and it's gone around. I mean, that's not a bad thing, actually, because it's raising your profile. If people are making things up, they believe this happened and I believe that happened. You're kind of becoming kind of like a legendary thing where people aren't just saying, would they say Joe Blogg's a comedian that's just started off? They wouldn't start saying, I believe this happened to him. So it's your kudos, isn't it? It helps your name, really, helps promote you. Stuff like that.
Similar to, obviously, to Jack Ryan. A lot of people have been saying there's a fable about him at the moment where he's actually a puppet.
Well, Jack Ryan, as I say, I saw the thing on the television, and I thought the way it came on, it was going to be about rescuing dogs, the way it was the RSPCA, rescue dogs. They show you the dog, which is like all tattered and lying on the floor, and this dog rescue, and they've got these places where rescue donkeys as well, don't they?
Okay.
They have like places in Southport where you can take your donkey. Okay. If you find a donkey that can't walk and all that, then they retire these donkeys and they do the hooves. So I know for a fact that Jack Ryan was rescued from a Punch and Judy show in Rill. He was on the beach. He'd been there for years, and they forced him every day to go.
Good.
To run up and down the beach going, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. So now, sadly, even though he's been to speech therapists and doctors and everything, that's the way he speaks. He speaks like that on stage. And he goes like that with his hands. And he's a puppet. And no operation is available for him. There's no counselling. There's nothing to do. You can do. No voice coach, nothing. Jack Ryan will always speak and look like Punch from Punch and Judy.
If you don't know who Jack Ryan is, you're clearly not a mega fan.
I'm sure he'll pop up now. You'll see a picture of him right now. He's our support comedian. He's on a cruise at the moment. Yeah. So he's a good lad.
Get yourself watching the vlog so you can get on the inside jokes and understand what we mean when we're referring to that man as a puppet, because he is a human puppet. Also the star of Team America, World Police.
Star of Team America, and for any older people out there, you may remember him in Four Feather Falls. Look it up. He was Tex Tucker.
Right, okay. We're going to get back into some stories about my dad gigging over the years, the weird and the wonderful, the mad stories, the near-death experiences, as he says, and the mad escapes. Now, a lot of people were commenting on one of the previous podcasts saying that, in fact, there's two different things here. Yeah. People are curious to find out what you look like when you were on Opportunity Knocks. And I've seen a video on TikTok going viral this week of you on Men and Motors. Yeah. And some of the comments underneath were like, is that young Frankie Allen? Because you look very different, don't you? Yeah. A bit more like me.
A lot of people actually think it's you. People have said, is that your lad?
Okay.
With a full head of hair. And look, people say we don't look like each other. We don't really. But on that one, you do look a bit like me on that.
Which one? Men and Motors. Yeah, okay, sweet.
So, on a comedian show on Men and Motors, that was, I think it was 90 or 91. So, yeah.
So, the thing I want to talk to you about here is Opportunity Knocks. Now, a lot of people will know that you went on Opportunity Knocks years ago, and they'll know the story about that. And we've spoken about it on previous podcasts. Yeah. Basically, my dad went on Opportunity Knocks. It was a big, huge show at the time. It was like Britain's Got Talent, X Factor kind of vibes. You finished second, did you?
Second. What it was, originally the show was Opportunity Knocks in the 60s and 70s. Bob Monkhouse, who was probably the biggest comedian in the UK at the time, passed away now, he's a lovely man. He revived the show and he started it again in 1987, but it was actually called Bob Says Opportunity Knocks. Yeah. And they had different artists on different acts and you had to rate them. What it was at the time, if you thought your act that you saw on the evening was 21st of March, if you thought you rang up and registered a vote, but I didn't. There was a girl on called Kerry Wilson. To be fair, she was very, very good. Did a lot of impressions of EastEnders and Coronation Street characters, and she won, and I didn't win. So I was kind of like back to square one, kind of back to work in the clubs. It could have been a great break for me, but it just didn't happen.
I've got a note on here though that there was two Scousers in a pub.
Yeah.
During in the Surrey Tavern pub during the show. Talk to me about it.
Well, what it was, where they filmed, it was Shepherd's Bush Studios in London.
Yeah.
Where it was filmed. It was going out live. It wasn't actually live. They filmed it on the Thursday, the 19th of March in 87. And a couple of days later, it went out on the Saturday night. They said it was live. I don't know how they got away with it because it wasn't live. They said it was broadcast live and you could run out and phone all my mates. Okay, my sister was in Scotland. She said she was ringing up from phone boxes, trying to register a vote for me. So that's the way it was in those days. There was no phones, no cell phones, no mobile phones. It was all landlines. You had to phone up. The number was in the Radio Times. And if you're Frankie Allen, so-and-so, 0800, so-and-so, 2, you press number 2, register a vote for me, but I didn't win. So on the night that it was being recorded, I thought it was going out live. 16 million people watched it anyway. Yeah. May as well have been live. I was the second act on. So we're all getting ready. Huge studio, Studio 8 in the BBC. You've never seen it like it in your life. Fucking huge studio. Cameras, there's fellas like on railway tracks with a fucking big camera coming towards you like about 60 miles an hour. And you think they're going to crash into you and they just stop. Fellas right up in the ceiling with lights shining down and there's calls, Frankie Allen to makeup. You've got to go down and get made up. You've got, there's people in there in wardrobe that are dressing you if they don't think that you've the right kind of clothes on. What I bought had a lovely suit on and a shirt and a bow tie, leather bow tie, green leather. They thought it was fantastic what I was wearing. They were hoping I'd win. They were kind of behind me, the BBC, but I didn't win, sadly. But it was filmed, actually. So that was the big night for me, 1987, the 21st of March.
Okay. And what happened with these Scousers?
Well, what happened with the Scousers, I don't really tell this story because it's difficult to believe. It is a hard, but it's not lies, it's true. This is what actually happened. What happened was, we were filming, it was going out live, what we thought was live at 9 o'clock. So 20 past 8, I was getting a little bit nervous. Never been on TV before in my fucking life. Didn't know what it was going to be like. Didn't know if I was going to get like tongue-tied before I went on in front of all the cameras, get nervous, not be able to speak. So at the time, I was drinking anyway at the time, not a great deal, but at the weekend I'd have a drink. So they've got a girl, they're researchers and people are walking around kind of like these. So I said to this girl, the researcher, I said, can I have a drink? Is there any drink anywhere? And she went, the bar, they had a bar in the BBC then, upstairs on the 11th floor. She said, it's closed now.
Okay.
I said, fucking hell. I said, look, I'm very nervous. I need a drink just to calm me down. So she said, I don't know what I can say to her. So it got to about 8:45, 15 minutes before we were filming or before we was going out live, what we all thought. She came over to me and said, Frankie, how do you feel? I said, I feel fucking awful. I said, my bottle's gone, I'm nervous. So she said, come here. So she took me over to the fire escape. So the side of the building was a fire escape. You wouldn't have known it was there. She said, I'll stand at this door, run down the fire escape, run across that street to a pub. I saw this pub called a Surrey Tavern. Go in there, get you a couple of drinks. Make sure you're back here by 8 to 9 because you're going out live at 9 o'clock. I'm standing here. Don't let me down. I said, oh, great. So ran out, ran over. I ordered. All my makeup was on and everything. All my hair was done. I used to have a fucking big head of hair. Lovely suit on. Looked the part. Give me a brandy. Brandy and ice. Felt good. Got another one. Felt great. And then I could feel that there was someone standing next to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Only Scousers would know this. I knew he was a Scouser.
Yeah.
And he didn't even speak.
Yeah.
So he's just standing there. I'm not sure if he had one eye or like a funny eye. And he's only little. And he's just looking at me. And he's listening to me talking to the barmaid.
Yeah.
And he went, all right. So I said, all right, mate. Then this other fella flew over from nowhere.
Yeah.
And his head was like on a swivel. And he went, all right, mate. He went, how many of yous is thee?
Yeah.
And I said, what? How many of yous is thee? I said, how many? I said, I'm on my fucking own, mate.
Yeah.
I said, why? He said, listen, we've been on the ale all day. I said, yeah. I don't know what they were doing in London. He said, now we're fighting with these fellas in the corner. They're going to kick off. And I looked over at all these fellas in the fucking corner. So he went, so his mate went like that. He said, you all right, lad? He said, what do you like, scrapping? I went, all right, like, well, what? I said, whoa. I said, I'm not fucking fighting with you. You've started a fight here.
Yeah.
You've been on the air all day. I said, I've got my biggest break of my career after 25 fucking years. I'm on the BBC going live, 17 million people. Opportunity knocks over there in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
This fella said, fuck the telly, la. There's only 2 of us. I went, oh my God.
Yeah.
I thought, this is all my dreams, all smashed. I'll end up fighting blood everywhere for these Scousers. And to be honest with you, Scousers do have like a special bond. Part of me was saying, I couldn't really leave them.
Yeah. You don't want to let them down. Yeah.
And I thought, and then something, I was like a schizophrenic. Then I started thinking, hang on a minute. Am I going to fucking end up, they were from Speak, these lads, am I going to end up fighting with these lads when I should be on live on the telly? So I said, hang on a minute. So I walked over to where these fellas were. They were like foreign fellas, you know.
Okay.
And I can speak me French and all. I spoke a little bit of French, and I think they were Moroccan and all. And I said, look, they're very, very sorry.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, my friend, but in our country, we do not do... I said, no, we don't do that anyway here.
Yeah.
It's just that they've had too much to drink. They're very, very sorry. So, you know, Scousers are like, they won't lose face. They won't apologise.
Yeah.
So walked back over to them, and he went, all right, la, what happened there? So I said, it's all right. Everything's okay. And his mate said, what did you say to them?
Yeah.
And I said, I just told them that you're from Speak. And he didn't want to know. And he went, that's right, la. So I went, listen, I've got to go. So he went, yeah, we'll come with you. I said, no, you can't come. It's the fucking television. Anyway, he shook their hand.
Yeah.
This fella, I remember one of the fella's names was Ghosty.
Okay.
Ghosty, like blonde hair, you know, a little fella, like Ghosty, something like that. So I went over, and it was 3 minutes to go to get, and the girl said, Frankie, where have you been? I said, oh. Went on and said, that's true.
That's mad, that.
That's a true story. As true as I'm sitting there, that actually happened.
Did that help you when you went on the telly? Because it was like taking your mind off it?
Not really. It made me, to be honest with you, I'd been calm. And when I had the 2 brandies, I felt fantastic. But knowing that there could have been a fight and I would have had to back up the Scousers, you didn't know how long the fight was going to last. I could have got back late. I could have got back with a black eye or something. So I was nervous, you know.
Yeah, it would have been stressful. Today's episode is brought to you by Skalptec, the leaders in scalp micropigmentation treatments. As you may know, Frankie himself has had the treatment done. He was bald and he couldn't go for a hair transplant due to weak donor hair. Now, he looks like he has a full head of hair, but has just chosen to shave it. It's taken years off him. He looks more like me brother than me dad now. Frankie, tell us, how's life been since you got your hairline back?
It's life-changing. It really is. I'm not one of these fellas that, you know, kind of exaggerate or tell lies. It's life-changing. The answer to my prayers, I was kind of fucked up over my hair, like a lot of fellas are, for many, many years. Tried different things, went down the road, transplantation, didn't want to work, you know, it didn't work for me, and tablets and whatever. This is the greatest thing that you're ever going to get done to your head. Get it done. Skalptec.
Skalptec offers a cutting-edge solution to hair loss that looks natural. Whether you want to add density to thinning hair, cover up scars, or create a full hairline, Skalptec has got you covered. Our mate, Terry Jones at Skalptec, he is the best in the business. He's won the UK Scalp Technician of the Year award 3 times, so you're definitely in safe hands with him. They have locations all over the UK, including Bearscough near Liverpool, Newcastle, London and Shrewsbury, as well as Jersey and Rotterdam. They're really close friends of ours, and without them, we couldn't make this podcast happen. Mention the Frankie Allen Podcast to get a special discount on your booking. Visit skalptec.com to learn more and book your free consultation today. All the details, including the link to book your consultation and the contact information, are in the show notes or the video description.
Get it done. You won't regret it. Look at me. Proof of the pudding's in the eating. I've got no hair really. Look at it. It's fabulous. It's great. Get it done.
Thanks to Skalptec for sponsoring today's episode. Now, let's get back to the show. So, I've got loads of notes here from you. Obviously, loads of different mad stories that my dad's provided me with. And we can go just for the next one that's on the list if you want, because I don't know what order these are in or what, but we've got Carlisle, local troublemaker.
Yeah, all that didn't happen. This happened this year or last year. You were with me, if you remember this. What happened was we were in a club in Carlisle and we were doing a thing and a fella come in causing a bit of trouble. It's only a short story.
Can't remember him.
Yeah, you will. I'll tell you on the way. I don't want to mention people's names or whatever, but the door staff came in. We were in the dressing room. It was in that fucking place, which is like a community centre.
Okay, yeah.
This fella was kicking off. Anyway, he was kicking off a little bit. And on the way out, he was shouting at me. I was on the stage and I shouted, "Fuck off, you dickhead." So at the end of the night, everybody had gone.
Yeah.
So the bouncers, the lads, they came in and he said, so-and-so. And the fella said, "That fella's gone anyway. Don't worry about him."
Yeah.
So I thought, you won't remember this because it's something I'd done without really telling you. That's how you don't know. So I'm a little bit paranoid.
Yeah.
I thought, that fella that was causing trouble, he hasn't gone. And I've had this before where a lot of people, you'll have trouble with them in the club. I had it years ago. They'll wait till you go to the toilet to get you to come in and kick off. Or they'll wait in the car park. So I thought I'll go out and see if he's in the car park. I think I said to you, I'm just putting my suit in. But I needed an excuse to go out and make sure the coast was clear from when we were eventually going home. So I walked out into the car park and walking across the car park. So I thought, fuck, here he is, standing by my car with a big hoodie on. So I walked up and I said to him, "Hey, you fat big fella, I'll fucking kill you." And he went, "Oh, sorry, I'm waiting for a bus."
Oh, was it wrong fella?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
What happened was, where the car was, there's a railing, but there was a bus stop with no bus shelter. And he was just standing there like that, but he was facing the car park.
Oh, no.
And I thought it was the fella we'd had trouble with. And he was a big fella, like, but he went, "What's wrong? I'm waiting for the bus." I went, and when I looked, I saw a fence then. There was he wasn't even in the car park. So it wasn't him.
Did you apologise to him?
No.
Oh, come on. Did you say, "Fucking hell, sorry, mate"?
I didn't apologise because I kind of shocked myself.
Yeah.
So I just went back in. Yeah.
It's mad because, like, when you're talking about Carlisle to me feels like one of the most placid places in the UK.
Yeah, but you've got dickheads everywhere. We went to Bedford, didn't we, a while ago?
Yeah.
And there was a fella kicking off. And Bedford's got a reputation for being a nice place. It's not rough.
Has it, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that will kick off everywhere. You spoke a couple of podcasts back about, like, snobs kicking off all the time.
Anyone can kick off. Snobs can kick off. All of a sudden, you can be talking to someone dead nice to you. They can kick off. You've just got to be alert all the time. And you can't rely on other people either. You know, we've had a lot of trouble, haven't we? Not a lot of trouble, but we've been let down, really, by some security.
Yeah.
When there's actually been real trouble and they've kind of, like, walked away from it. They really not wanted to get involved.
It happens a lot, you know. People wouldn't realise how much it happens. And, like, obviously we have security on all of the shows, and the majority of the time, to be honest with you, the security are shit up. We do a full briefing with them before the show. They know the score. Sometimes they've been great, but, like, there has been times where, like, they've just flapped it everywhere.
Been let down.
Yeah. Madness. On that note, obviously we've just put security on the shows. Is that better for you? Do you, like, how the fuck did you get away with not having security for that long?
I worked on clubs with no security because I couldn't afford security. I couldn't afford anyone to come with me.
Yeah.
Over the years, working in some rough places, normally you'd get to a place and the fella who was running the event, 9 times out of 10, he'd be someone who was the well-known anyway, that the lads in there that bought the tickets off him, they had a bit of respect for him, normally a pub owner or a club owner. So they had a little bit of sway. So they were always, half the time, Manchester, Liverpool, going up to Leeds, they'd be like hard lads anyway, so that were running the events. That very rarely was kind of like you get a weakling who's running it, because the fellas would have took the piss out of him. He had to be a kind of a dominant male in the pack that was running it. So he had kind of control over the audience anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where I didn't. Well, I may as well tell you the truth. I've been threatened a lot as well through doing clubs, and somebody was threatening me once, fell phoning up and, I'm going to kill you. We know where you're working and all that. So I had to take a couple of lads with me. I had to pay a couple of lads to come with me. Nothing happened on the night, but these were like heavy duty fellas that came with me. And then another friend of mine, strangely enough, Big Fred, you remember Big Fred? He came with me, and this guy was like 6'5". He was huge, and he was very, very tough. But he was coming with me as a mate, and he was a great singer. I used to work with him in the end on shows. Carl Fredericks was a stage name. He was a fantastic singer, and he won like awards all over the UK, Northeast Entertainer of the Year, and he sadly passed away suddenly. But Big Fred, he came with me. But believe it or not, Big Fred came with me about 2 or 3 times to different venues, and it flew around the whole of the circuit in the north of England. Frankie Allen brings a huge fucking monster with him everywhere.
That's mad.
And it kind of like got me a little bit of respect as well, you know.
Yeah.
So it's strange the way you're always, you've always maintained, that we're in a world, which we are, where electronic, the internet, things are flying around. But you'd be surprised how fast things can travel around by word of mouth.
No, I agree.
People, things get around.
All I always say to you is social media is word of mouth amplified. That's all.
It's the village square.
It's the village square. That's right. So we were talking earlier on the way here about Kenny Ball, and you phoned your mate Kenny Ball this afternoon because you wanted to clear with him that you could mention his name.
Yeah,
is that
what
right?
it is, I used to drink a few years ago, and I used to love getting drunk or whatever.
You haven't drank for a long time.
Long time. So Kenny Ball was a driver. He used to drive me. I used to pay him, and he became a good friend. He's a great mate even now, speaking to him today. And we'd go around, and we'd have the time of our lives. It was like being with your best mate everywhere we went, and having a laugh with the strippers, copping for some of the strippers. I mean, it was a long time ago, but we had the time of our fucking life. But a strange thing happened. We went one night, me and Kenny went down to this place. I think it was called Buckley in North Wales, and it's Buckley British Legion. So when we got into the club, we walked into the kitchen. Didn't get changed in those days. I used to just wear a pair of pants and a shirt and whatever and walk straight onto stage. And there was a big show on. In those days, it was always strip shows. There was 4 girls on. All the girls came from Yorkshire and Manchester. Very rarely any Liverpool girls. And then I went on 2 or 3 times during the night. But when we walked off stage, the dressing room was actually the kitchen. Now, in the kitchen, I'll never forget, there was a cooker and there was a kind of like, it was like, small, like a catering kind of a thing in there. They put functions on and whatever. And there were hundreds of fucking chickens all over the place. You could see there were about 50 or 60 chickens, small chickens, wrapped in foil. And there was other stuff. And, we opened the fridge and it was all this stuff. And apparently there was a 21st birthday party the next day. Yeah. So they were the chickens for the birthday party. So I went on, me and Kenny went on. Kenny was waiting for me, got in the car and we drove home. I used to drop Kenny off where he lived. He used to drive, I shouldn't really be saying this, because Kenny didn't live that far from me. Sometimes, even though I was drinking, I'd just drop him off and just chance driving to mine in the car. Yeah. But sometimes he had a car to my house and then we'd go in my car or whatever. Anyway, I'm lying in bed this Saturday morning and my agent, Harry Barnes in Manchester, he was at the time, rang me up and it was 10 o'clock in the morning. And I said, all right, Harry. He said, oh, how did you do last night? I said, oh, we had a great night. He said, oh, yeah, Teddy, or whoever the fellow was at the club, said you went well. It was a good night. And I said, yeah, well, what's up? He said, Frankie, let me ask you a question. Just say yes or no. I said, what is it? He said, do you know anything about chickens going missing from Buckley British Legion? Yeah. I said, missing chickens? I said, is this a fucking joke? No, I'm just asking you, do you know anything about it? I said, Harry, fuck off. I don't know anything about missing fucking chickens. Let me get back to sleep. He said, I'm sorry, I've already told him you'd have nothing to do with it. So I said, what the fuck was that? So went out of my mind, never thought anything about it.
Yeah.
So that night we're working up in Leeds. So I phoned Kenny up. I said, Kenny, what do you want to do? He went, I tell you what. He said, you drive to my house, pick me up whenever you're ready about 6:30. I said, okay. So I got in my car. So I'm driving, and where he lived in Wavertree, anybody knows Wavertree, he lived off Mill Lane. So I'm driving down his fucking road, and I thought, oh, it was in the summer, like a day like today, lovely and sunny. And it was about 6:30, and I thought, oh, what a lovely smell. What a lovely smell of roast chicken.
Yeah.
So I'm driving, and I went, oh, that's fucking lovely. I feel hungry.
Yeah.
Then I looked, and there's Kenny with a pair of shorts on. He wasn't even ready. All his family sitting on a fucking step of his house, all eating fucking chicken everywhere.
Yeah.
Eating this fucking chicken, like. So then I got out the car, I walked up, and I went, the penny dropped. I said, this is the fucking chicken Harry was going on about. This is the chicken from Buckley Leeds.
Yeah.
Kenny must have pinched all the chickens when I was on the stage.
Did you ask him?
Yeah. So I said, Kenny, did you take that fucking chicken last night from Buckley Legion? He went, oh, yeah. He said, it's fucking lovely. He said, do you want some?
Go on.
He didn't give a fuck.
How many chickens did he took?
Took a few.
And was he asked?
He wasn't bothered, the real true Scouser. Couldn't give a flying fuck. So he said, are we early or late? I said, look, we've got to go now. I was eating the chicken in the car on the way to Leeds.
Go on.
Yeah. I just, well, fuck it, he's pinched them. His missus was a good cook at the time.
Yeah.
She'd made them lovely. They were lovely, like barbecue chicken. So Kenny's driving with one hand and he's still eating this drumstick. And Kenny was just one of those fellas. I said, Kenny, the agents rang me up. And he's going, fuck them. Fuck them. That's all he said all the way to Leeds.
Go ahead.
And we both got out the car with fucking chicken all over our faces, yeah.
Did the agents ever find out?
No. Well, you'd never dream anyone. I could say to him when he rang me up, I said with a clear conscience, what the fuck are you on about? Because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Kenny had took the chickens. Well, Kenny Ball, that's his fucking name. Anyone who's a bit older may remember, there was a famous trumpeter called Kenny Ball, but he was Kenny Ball, and he was my driver, and he stole the fucking chickens. Now, I don't know whether it was like 25 years ago. Don't even want us to get hold of him now, but it's too fucking late.
Yeah, he scanned it all. Talking about agents, obviously you mentioned Harry Barnes was your manager for a period of time.
Yeah.
How long was he your manager? Was he a manager or agent or?
Well, manager really, yeah. You know, for like about 15 years. So he's a good
Was
lad,
he,
Harry, great. He got me on Opportunity Knocks and all that kind of stuff. And he was an actor himself. He used to go out as an actor himself.
Did he? What was he an actor as?
Norman Mills. He was a comedian.
Go on.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that, don't they?
Yeah, a lot of agents book themselves out as actors as well. Probably just make a few extra quid, yeah.
Yeah, and you didn't get as much work as one other comedian though that I know.
Which comedian's that?
Well, I reckon he got so much more work than you.
Who?
Mike Lark.
Now that's strange. The way you've segued into that, Will, that was brilliant.
Go ahead.
This is a strange story. 1984, I was only a bit of a kid, but I was working on the clubs. I had a mate of mine, Georgie Moss, who was in a duo with fantastic comedian George. A lot of the material I use now is George's stuff. He's passed away, but I use a lot of his stuff now. I won't tell you what it is, but he was a great comedian. And he had a mate called Mike Lark.
Yeah, which is quite funny because if you haven't heard us talking about clocks and Clarks.
Looking. This is when I'm looking, it's my Clark.
Yeah.
But Mike Lark, that was his name.
Yeah.
Mikelark.
Yeah.
So Mike is sitting in my house in Wavertree and we're having a talk.
Is he a comedian?
He's a comedian and very good. So we're having this talk in 1984. And I didn't have a car. I had no car. I used to hitchhike to these places, try and get the train and get a lift home, get the fucking bus there, the Crosville bus or the Ribble if you're in Lancashire, going up to the northeast. I used to get a train and sleep in the fucking club, all that business. So I'm talking to Mike and I said, where are you on Saturday, Mike? Are you working? He said, yeah, I've got a good job. I said, where are you? He said, I'm in Upton British Legion, Salaka Lane, Upton, Birkenhead. He said, I'm getting 85 quid, which was good money then.
What's the equivalent to that now?
About 300 quid,
okay.
350. So I said, fucking hell, that's fantastic, great. He said, are you working? I said, I've got a job for 100 quid, which was great money. I said, but it's in Anglesey. So I said, it's in Llangefni Labour Club, which is a big Labour club. It's still there, I think, or it may be gone now. Llangefni, right in the middle of Anglesey. So he said, great. He said, who's taking you? And this was like the Friday, the Wednesday, and the gig was on the Saturday. And I said, who's taking me? Mike. That's the last, and it used to be the last thing on my mind. And it was like 130 miles, 50 miles. I said, I don't know. I don't know how the fuck I'm getting down there.
Yeah.
I'll probably get a train and sleep in the club and try and get a train home on the Sunday if there's any trains, or I might hitchhike. That's what I used to do.
Yeah.
So Mike went, yeah, I've got a caravan in Anglesey, not far from Llangefni. And I've been wanting to go there.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah. And I didn't fucking, he went, Frankie, go to Upton Legion, right?
Yeah.
Upton British Legion. Go on stage as Mike Lark.
Yeah.
Are you joking? I'm Mike Lark.
Yeah.
He said, it's too late to phone them now and say, look, I've got a caravan in Wales, so I'm going to send Frankie Allen. They won't have it. The agents wouldn't do that those days.
Yeah.
They'd say, oh no, what's going on? We can't have another comedian. He's advertised. But they always advertised, Frankie Allen, Mike Clark, Georgie Moss, Danny Downing. But you were advertised in the club, but they never had a picture.
Yeah.
See? So you were lucky that way. So I said, hang on. So I go to Anglesey. He said, no, Frankie, you've got it the wrong way round. All you've got to do is get a taxi to Birkenhead, which was cheap then.
Yeah.
You pick up 85 fucking quid. He said, it's my job. It was a direct job for him. He wasn't paying commission on it.
Yeah.
So he said, so you're getting £85 net, but you go on stage as Mike Lark. He said, I go to Anglesey for you. I walk on stage as Frankie Allen, even though I am really Mike Lark.
Yeah.
And I pick up 100 quid and I pay commission on it, 15%. So he said, so I end up at 85 quid. We're on the same money. I'll pay your commission to your agent for you.
Yeah.
I said, fucking hell, this sounds fucking great.
Yeah.
So I get into Upton British Legion, Salaka Lane, get a taxi in there. Place is fucking heaving. So the fella said, hello, Mike. Didn't know me. Didn't know Frankie Allen. I was totally unknown. I said, all right, mate. Got on stage. And I was doing a lot of gags then about TV things, adverts on the TV.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'd done and remember the act I did that night. I was doing stuff like, you know, have you seen the girl advertising cigarettes on the television? She's smoking a cigarette and the camera zooms in and she says, I've tried them all, but nothing satisfies me like a Camel.
Yeah.
There used to be a brand of cigarettes called a Camel.
I'm on it, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking huge laugh. So I'm bringing the fucking house down. In those days, I didn't really interact with the audience, just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I said something to somebody who was walking past. But he happened to be the concert secretary of the club, who's like being like the president of the USA in the club.
Yep.
You know, and I said, didn't even have anything to say to him in those days. And I just said, all right, mates, where are you going? Fuck it, you've got big ears. Bringing a fucking house down. So all my gags worked, all my routines worked. I was very, very calm. And I was on for an hour when normally in those days I could only do 25, 30 minutes.
Yep.
I don't know how I'd done it. Just brought the fucking house down. Came off. Fella came up and he went, Mike,
Yeah.
Mike, you were fantastic. Mike, I'm going to tell everyone to book you.
Yeah.
You're going to get so much work. I'm going to phone every agent.
Yeah.
I want you back here for New Year's Eve. Now, New Year's Eve, if you worked on a club on New Year's Eve, that was like being in Las Vegas.
You get like triple your money or 4 times?
Triple your money that you normally got.
Yeah.
You'd pick up, I would have picked up about £500 for the New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
He said, Mike, I want you here. You were fantastic. I said, fucking hell, great. So anyway, got home, didn't hear anything about it. And Mike Clark rang me. He said, Frankie, I'll come down to yours. So we come down to my house and he's sitting there. I said, Mike, how did you get on? Oh, Frankie. I had a terrible, terrible night.
Yeah.
I said, what happened? They were booing me. I died.
Yeah, go on.
Nobody fucking laughed. It was terrible. And a fella said to me in the dressing room, Frankie Allen, I'll make sure you never work anywhere in North Wales again.
Go on.
And they used to have these concert secretaries associations.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Like meetings, they'd all meet each other and they'd swap notes.
Yeah.
He said, you are fucking terrible. And he said, he paid me, I got the 85 quid off him, or the 100 quid, whatever it was. And he said, you're fucking awful. And he said, and I'm well in with a lot of agents in Liverpool and Manchester. I'm going to tell him how bad you are. You shouldn't be working.
Yeah.
Anyway, fucking hell, Mike. So Mike said, Frankie, what can we do? I'm so sorry. He said, I had a great weekend because I got paid and I stayed in my caravan. He said, but I think I've got you a bad name. And I said, you've got me a bad name. They said, they think in Birkenhead that Mike Clark is Elvis Presley. They want you there for New Year's Eve. They're going to give you tons of work. Everyone's talking about you. And he went, oh, I don't know what the fucking hell to say. So we just left it. That's exactly what happened. I got blacked in North Wales. Nobody gave me any work.
Yeah.
A fella phoned me up. I remember saying, Frankie, I've got a job for you. Ray Dalton, his name was, a good lad. Got a job for you in Abergele. And I had very little work at the time. I've got you 100 quid. I said, okay. So he rang up and he said, here's the date, so-and-so. The next day he rang me up. Frankie, no. This is the way they were talking. When the fella said, I've just realised it's Frankie Allen. No, we don't want him here. Not him. Don't want him here. He got booed off in Anglesey. Just all knew each other and all that.
Because of Mike Clark.
Because of that. And then another time I got a job in Mould.
Yeah.
Went to the fucking club and walked in and the compere came up to me and he went, are you Frankie Allen? I said, yeah. And he went, no, we don't want you. Sorry, no, don't want you. That's how bad it was.
Could you not say, oh, that was Mike Clark?
No, they wouldn't believe it anyway. No one believe it. Mike Clark was getting loads of fucking work on my name.
That's ruthless.
In fact, he was getting that much fucking work.
Yeah.
And I don't know what
I've never heard of this guy in my life,
Yeah. I'm going to ring him or he might be listening. Yeah. Mike, if you're watching or if you're listening to this phone, he's a good lad. Mike Clark got tons of work and he must have started working on his act a little bit. He started doing well and he was doing very, very well. He made a load of money on that night and I got kind of like totally fucking destroyed for about 3 years because of using his name.
If you'd have gone back in time, would you have done the show in Llangefni instead?
I would have walked to Llangefni just to save my name.
Yeah, belter. So Mike Clark, if you are listening or watching, please get in touch. My email will be below and I can hook you up with my dad and you can reminisce about how you got shitloads of work and he got bailed from the whole of North Wales.
That's a true story.
Yeah. My dad just had to get out of here for a week for a quick minute, but he wants to tell you one final story. I don't know what it is, but I know that it involves Howard Kendall. And Howard Kendall is a legend in my eyes. So anything involving Howard Kendall, one, he's hilarious, but two, I'm going to be excited to hear it because of what a good fella he was. So fill us in.
It was a great story. And Howard Kendall, very close friend of mine and yours, a lovely, lovely man, fantastic, amazing footballer, an amazing manager for Everton, Everton's most successful manager of all time. Lovely man. Well, I used to do a lot of work with Howard on sportsman's dinners, sportsman's evenings. Sometimes he got me some work to work with him. Sometimes I got him work. Anyway, this particular time, this guy got in touch, and I think it's Paul Harrison, his name was. He was a good lad from down in Oswald Street. And I used to put shows on in this place called the Lion Keys Hotel.
Yeah.
Fucking big venue and a lovely place. And he said, Frankie, I want to do this show, trying to raise money, children in need or some fucking thing. I said, okay. So I negotiated a fee with him, and I said to Howard Kendall, look, Howard, can you come down to Lion Keys with me? And Ernie King was the MC, he came with us. So I got him the MC, which is Ernie, to do it, Ernie King. Howard Kendall was the main speaker for the evening. Frankie Allen, with three of us, we all went down together. We had a fantastic night, driving down there in the summer, lovely, just like it is today. In the summer, fantastic. We got in there. When we looked around, it was all men. Everybody was in tuxedos.
Yep.
Bow ties, white shirts, tuxedos. You could just see straight away a lot of money in the room.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. This fella come up to me and he went, yeah, they're going to raise a lot of money tonight. You know, they're going to raise an awful lot of money for the kids and things. So we said, oh, that's great, because we've done it. And we've done it. I won't even tell you what we've done it for. We've done it for next to nothing. I asked Howard, would he split his fee in two? And I done it because it was raise money for kids. So, and Ernie done it for like just a few quid to MC it. We were trying to raise money for the kids. So we all done this. We get down there. Fantastic night. Went down great. Came off stage. So this fella came up to us and he went, very, very good. He went, you've done a good show. He said, funny enough, he said, you're better than the last comedians that we had last year. And they paid a lot of money for them. Mm. I said, yeah, who did you have last year? He said, we had Billy Connolly on and Jimmy Tarbuck. Now, Billy Connolly is, even now, he's getting on a bit now, a huge comedian.
Yeah.
And I knew that he got 20 grand a night.
Yeah.
And I know that Jimmy Tarbuck probably gets the same, about 20 grand a night. So I went, huge room, multi-million. I know there was a couple of millionaires in there and everything. A lot of money, tuxedos and whatever. The year before, they had Billy Connolly on and Jimmy Tarbuck. And I thought, we've been ripped off. They paid Jimmy Tarbuck 20 grand. They paid Billy Connolly 20 grand. And they'd given me and Howard like 100 quid each.
Yeah.
So Howard's at the bar and we're having a drink. And I said, Howard, can I have a word?
Yeah.
And he said, what is it, pal? And I went, do you know who was on here last year? And I'm not going to tell you what they paid him because you can make up your own mind. You know what the fee structure is. He said, who was it? I said, they had Billy Connolly on and Jimmy Tarbuck. And Howard went, fuck off.
Yeah.
I said, no. He went, fucking hell, Frankie, you're joking. I went, no. So we're walking out. So Paul, who'd organised it, we're walking out to the place. Walking out, and he walks up to me and says, Frankie, a fantastic night. That was great. And he sticks his hand out and is shaking his hand. I said, listen, Paul, I'm not being funny. I don't want to shake your hand. He said, why? I said, you've ripped the bollocks out of us.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Just let us go home. Forget about it. So Howard Kendall goes, listen, pal. He went, I've met people like you before.
Yeah.
What you done tonight? You've used my name, Frankie Allen, raising money. Last year, so it's fucking Billy. I was losing temper. He said, so it's fucking Billy Connolly, is it? 20 grand for Billy Connolly, 20 fucking grand for Jimmy Tarbuck. He went, no. Don't ever contact me or contact Everton Football Club to try to get me in any way, shape or form. Don't ever contact me. I said, come on, Howard. And the fella, this poor Paul, he was white as a ghost, you know. So we walked across the car park. So the fella just standing there having a piss, just a young lad, you know. Yeah. I said, all right, mate. I said, were you here last year? What was it like? He said, what like? He said, Jimmy Tarbuck. He said, what do you mean, Timmy Tarbuck? I said, he was on here last year with Billy Connolly.
Yeah.
I said, who told you that? He said, some fella at the bar. He said, what's that there? I said, what do you mean? I said, it's a cement mixer.
Yeah.
He said, it's been open for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
He said, this is the opening night.
Good.
That's why they put it on. I said, what about Billy Connolly? He said, what about him? He said, he's never been here. He said, the club, he said, look, the fucking paint's still wet. It's 4 weeks old.
It's hilarious.
So the fella at the bar was just winding us up, telling lies.
Fucking hell.
So I had to ring up Paul the next day and apologise. He said, Frankie, I just wondered what you were kicking. What was it all about? And he was laughing his head off. He said, Billy fucking Connolly.
Yeah.
He said, that's been here. He said, it's been open for 5 weeks, he said. It's been open for 5 weeks. True story.
Belter. So we'll wrap up there. Big thanks if you have been listening or watching today. We really appreciate your support. As always, what we want to know from you is, where do you watch or listen to this? Do you watch it on the telly at home? Are you listening to it while you're at work? Are you listening to it in the car? While you're on a run? While you're in the gym? Or, as my dad would be watching it, lying in bed doing fuck all. Is that right, Dad?
Lying in bed, but speaking to people on the phone all night to different people, basically.
Belter. We want to know where you are listening to or watching this podcast. Just for our own insight, interested to know. But as always, I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been fantastic doing these podcast recordings once again. And big thanks to you for tuning in. And thanks to me dad for sharing his honest stories with us.
Big shout out to my son, my handsome son, Will Cranny, who's absolutely brilliant as an MC and a presenter. And he should be on a TV. Fantastic. Thanks very much, Will.
TV, get in touch with me. Catch you on the next one, people. In a bit.